By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
I'm Carol from Sunbury, Ohio.
I'm a Republican, but I don't care who does the job as long as the job gets done. That's why I like Sherrod Brown. He stood up to both parties on China and worked with Republicans to fight fentanyl because Sherrod fights for Ohio. That's leadership.
Paid for by friends of Sherrod Brown.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Anfield Index podcast. I am Trev Downey, and the amount of shows that I've hosted is starting to add up as we approach that elusive figure of 400. I'm still podcasting to you from my field here in beautiful rural Ireland, and I'm joined again for the second show in a row by my colleagues of Lethal Cunning, Lisa Marie Hanahan and Cam Branch. It's great to have the gang back together again. And Lisa Marie, can you do your wonderful service and let people know, because I've forgotten again, after a run of 2 episodes where I actually knew what day it was and what episode it was, I've forgotten, I'm afraid, my friend. What is today's episode number?
Welcome to episode 394 of the Anfield Index podcast.
Excellent, excellent. You can turn that computer off now and we'll get on with the show. And Cam is joining us as well to get stuck into some football chat. But I have a kind of a conversation starter for you, not necessarily because we need one, because we seem to be very well versed in just talking shite about whatever happens to come up at any given moment. And we are late starting the show because we were doing exactly that for about 15 minutes there before the mics went live. But I do want to ask you something, because today I was taken aback by the response that I got to a tweet, which was something along the lines of, influencers, what are they really and how do they exist, and who is it that's actually influenced by influencers? The question I think specifically is, what demographic of adult would be influenced by an influencer? Because I understand when we're young, we're all subject to being easily impressed or easily won over or whatever happens to be. I'm not talking about teenagers or kids or even people in their early 20s. I think about me in my early 20s. You're still a fucking idiot, really. Apologies to all early 20s out there, but you know, you kind of are. You still don't have a whole lot of life experience behind you. So perhaps it's easier to fall into the trap of the influencer thing and you're still young. But I'm just wondering, like, what grown-ass adults actually would be influenced? Because I heard a conversation during the week between 2 people who are around my age, a bit younger perhaps, maybe late 40s, and they were both talking about their favorite influencers on, wait for it, TikTok. And I started to fear for humanity. So I have a question for you. Let's not talk about that as a existential threat to our culture. I want to ask you a simple question. If you were going to be an influencer and have a video account where you did something that you think you could get people to follow in considerable numbers, what would be the thing that you would do? Now, I have a hint, not a hint. I have a feeling I know what both of you are going to go with. So I'm going to wait until you tell me what you're going to do, and then I'm going to tell you what my idea was for what I think you'd be good influencers in. And I'll start so that you can have a bit of mulling over time, because, you know, everyone's patently aware that I've turned into the most boring man in the world in recent years. I used to be cool. Not so much anymore. Now I like to dig the ground and make things grow. And I actually could not be more enthusiastic about it. And I actually, over the course of the 5 years or so that I've been doing it, have learned loads. So I think I can make interesting little videos about how to grow tomatoes and potatoes and apples and stuff like that. And I think I'd enjoy doing that. I actually do have a few accounts like that. They're not influencer accounts. They're little old men pottering around in garden centers showing me how to plant things. So I do follow accounts like that. And I think I could fit right in there. And recently I saw young David Beckham doing a bit from his garden, where he's got it all divided up into plots, very fancy, lots of money got into it, surprise, surprise. But he did seem to be genuinely enthusiastic about it and have a vague clue, and he's there in his flat cap. And I went, my God, Bex has gone full Downey. So I think I could do that. But curious to know what you go with, Cam. If you were going to set up yourself as a, you know, sort of middle-aged influencer about town, what would you be? What would you be selling?
What would I sell him? I'm not sure I'd sell him. I think I'd just be an angry, ranting abuser.
So you're gonna flog opinions, pal. That's what you're telling. That's what you'd like to do. You think you'd be good at coming on doing little 2, 3, 5 minute rants about whatever's getting your goat today. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would suit me to a T, because I'm not really an angry person.
No, you're not.
You know, I mean, I got accused this week of storming away, and the person who told me, he goes, Cam, I don't see you as a storming away type at all.
No.
Like, well, no, I'm not. You know, I just very calmly walked away. You know, there was no storming involved. But I think we've all got the opposite of what we are within us, and I think that would be a great release for me. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, like Hendrik is now, always angry.
Yeah, I'll let you into the secret. I think an awful lot of that with Dave is performative. But yeah, go ahead. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it is, but he performs it very well.
He does.
And I believe that is something I would excel in, I think, because it's not like I've ever abused our 4 listeners.
No. It's not like you've ever just started talking to our precious listeners as if they are the object of your hate. I've many a times I've had to rail the show back as you are speaking directly to our listeners as if they are the focus of your ire. But nonetheless, it is tremendously entertaining, and may I add, very passionately held opinions. So I'm all behind this. I would have said, dude, my suggestion for you would have been, given your affinity for them, I would have thought you'd be good at maybe doing a car type thing. But of course, I actually much prefer your suggestion. And Lisa Marie, if I was to ask you, you're going to set yourself up as a latter-day Bronte sister there on TikTok. What are you going to sell, or what are your thoughts going to be about? How are you going to influence?
You know, I think I'm going to be probably what you were predicting, and tie it somehow to my various baking enterprises and experiments. Yes.
Excellent. Got it.
I love this thing.
I'm delighted.
Too well. Yeah, no, I think it would. I think it would, you know, just take what I tend to do anyway, is, you know, posting pictures of things that I've baked or in process of baking, and just, you know, take that the one step further and put some video or audio to it to go from there.
But there's a bit of expertise there. Like, if we're being honest, it's not just like, you know, I know you are by nature a humble sort of individual, but there is a bit of expertise there. Like, you could actually probably fill quite a few videos with instructive stuff, right? And then, of course, in true influencer style, you do the before and after, and the after is always, judging by the pictures we've seen, quite impressive. So I think there's a real window there. I love it. TikTok is about to be flooded by 50-somethings. Get your hats on. Get your hard hats on, folks. The oldies are coming to town. We're gonna take TikTok by storm. I can't wait to do it now. I wanted to get into a few Liverpool topics, obviously, but Cam, you have a specific bugbear that you wanted to get out, and I think at the top of the show is a good time to do it because it may come back again later on, or we may mull it over. So you had something to do with the whole refereeing zone, I think. Talk to us a little bit about what it was you wanted to bring up. Is it just an observation, or is it a discussion point, do you reckon?
It's a discussion point, I think. VAR. You either love it or you hate it now because of what it's become. And VAR as a concept is brilliant, wonderful. The original thought process was it would help get decisions right. It would, that was the original thought process. Any mistake the referee made, and that was a genuine mistake, VAR would come in and say, "Bang, you've got that one wrong. We need to put this right." A prime example was last weekend in the Man United Spurs game with the Bruno Fernandes red card. And very, very subjective, because many people are saying, well, it was a red card because you can see him flick his leg higher and he was literally going for the guy's knee. And other people are saying, well, he slipped over and, that's why his leg, went out the way it did. And obviously the referee gave the red card. VAR did not overturn that decision because it was not a clear and obvious error. That is the issue right there. It was not a clear and obvious error. It doesn't matter if it's not a clear and obvious error. It's like saying, well, it either is a goal or it's not a goal. Because did it cross the line or didn't it cross the line? Well, we have goal line technology that tells us that it crossed the line, so we know that. So VAR, again, we have to eliminate this clear and obvious error, because obviously what's sent up is Fernandes, and it's the same with Alexis McAllister last season. I think it was games Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth at home last season? He got sent off early in the season for a red card, and then it was overturned on appeal. This decision was overturned on appeal. So that's had a huge impact on the outcome of that game. Because if Fernandes had stayed on the pitch, United would have lost 8-0.
Well, we can only hope.
Yeah, and that's going to have a huge bearing on a relegation battle further on down the season, obviously towards the end of the season, where United stay up on goal difference. So it's a massive error in that part. Obviously, yeah, a little bit of sarcasm there. But so my bugbear now is VAR is not doing what it's meant to be doing. But I'm a huge fan of the concept of what VAR was meant to be. And it's just so frustrating that we've got this wonderful game. It's the beautiful game, It brings so much pleasure to billions of people around the world. And the authorities are just seem hell-bent on just overcomplicating a very, very simple game. And that is really frustrating. And I think it's really sad that, they've allowed this to happen. I mean, offsides, when did he kick the ball? When did he kick the ball? He's got half a toe offside. Like that half a toe is going to impact whether he was going to go and, score or not score because of that starting position. It's become it's just become stupid. It honestly has. And but I don't want to see VAR go, because I still think there are more positives than negatives overall. And it's about how can we make it work better?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest problem is that it's operated by people.
But what people?
Well, yes.
Stupid.
Therein lies the
then
real
you go down from there or expand upon that kind of snarky comment is that, yes, I mean, fundamentally it should work. The errors in it are not 99 times out of 100 technology errors. They're
the technology
people errors or subjective opinions. Yes. So to Trev's point, the problem is who's using it, and their either inexperience or bias or whatever that is influencing how they're interpreting, the calls that need to be made.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Jira. Jira is the only project management tool you need to plan and track work across any team. So if you're a team of developers, Jira better connects you with teams like marketing and design, so you have all the information you need in one place. Plus, their AI helps you knock out the small stuff so you can focus on delivering your best work. Get started on your next big idea today in Jira.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
And let's get there straight away. Because there's an endless loop of people complaining about VAR and saying that it's a ridiculous call and trying to claim corruption and all the rest of it. And then lots of people saying, don't be stupid, there's no such thing. These are the kind of people who believe that nothing bad can ever happen and that, all governments are wonderful. You can't really help those people. But at the same time, it's no good to talk about corruption. It's pointless. And honestly, I do believe in that axiom that if stupidity is a more likely option than corruption, then go with stupidity, because it is that most of the time. I'm not letting anyone off the hook here, but my point is, when I was asking you who are the people who are using it, it's PGMOL. The PGMOL lads are the reason why we've had so much absolutely hellish decisions, because by their own admissions, live on television, they are looking out for their mates. And as Cam says, the clear and obvious thing is a fantastic get out of jail card, which allows them to say, yeah, I think on the day that's not a clear and obvious error by referee X, our mate. Let's let him off the hook, or let's bring him over to the thing and suggest very strongly that he has a look at that monitor and gives the decision that we should give, so that so that he gets himself off the hook. The point I guess I'm getting at is it is the people who are making decision that should be outsourced from the PGMOL completely. The idea that they are the ones who are like, whoever heard of a company having a sort of a vetting of itself being done by itself. Oh, right, yeah, sorry. Every government in history has done that. Every major company in history has done that. It's just this endless cycle of nonsense. We can't have the PGMOL being the ones who are checking up on the decisions made by members of the PGMOL on the pitch. It's absolutely nonsensical. And maybe if we had that separation of church and state, we could have a far better version of VAR. But I'm just going to spin it back to you, Cam, for this one, and then I'll get the exact same question from you, Lisa Marie. Nettie, you've brought it up because to come full circle back to it, you were talking about the joy that football brings to people. I will openly admit that football has lost a goodly percentage of its spontaneity and joy since VAR came in. And I don't know if the trade-off has been worth it. I genuinely don't. Yes, so many times our fantastic defensive work and Virgil marshalling that line has worked out in our favour because we do that really well. And many, many occasions referees would have given decisions against us. But is that worth it for all the goals that have gone in that I have not been able to enjoy in the moment, that I've had to sit with a grim face on me waiting while the players sort of half-assedly celebrate on the pitch while it goes to VAR? That joy, Cam, is a fucking massive loss to me. I'll be honest with you. I'm in football for the crack, and that's a big portion of it gone.
That is generally down to our side decisions. What you're saying there, most of those goals that was the offside, wasn't the offside, that's usually where where they're waiting. That would be what's the word I'm looking for here? Made better once they bring the semi-automated offside in that I believe they used in the Euros, and not that I watch the Euros this year, but I believe that worked quite well. And there was, it was very, very fast. There's no arguments because it's a computer-generated image. There's none of these lines on the, we're drawing the line here, we're drawing the line there. It's done, bang, decisions accepted straight away. And I think that the sooner they decide to bring that in, the better. Just quickly going to your points about the people within, the PGMOL and who are, making these decisions. Obviously, to do that, you need to be qualified to a certain extent, i.e., maybe you've done licensing, coaching licenses or whatever. I don't know what the criteria is, but you need to be qualified. Some people have been saying, you should get ex-players involved in these decision-making. Ex-players don't want to do this. Ex-players have earned millions. They don't want to be sat there being accountable for this, that, or the other.
They're also quite often dopes, let's be honest, Cam.
Most.
And like you say, the best ones, the people who've played at the top league and therefore would have the most experience of top level football, wouldn't have a breeze of interest in it. But it's a daft. It's a daft argument anyway. Yeah. What you do is you get people, you train people in the rules of the game, and then the application of the technology together, and they become experts in that. It's simple.
But that's what they're meant to be. You would have thought. And I'm assuming you can't, as much as we may despise the PGMOL, they're not going to have people there who don't fit that criteria. It's just that they're still inept at what they're doing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and at least I do want to get you on this as well, because this is like I can't understate what a huge topic this is for me in terms of my general life quality. Football is a huge part of me being able to have some fun. And for years, when things have been really tough and, a lot of stuff that I'm juggling with family and sickness and stuff like that, football is a real sort of window of joy and an opportunity for that. And it really has felt like a lot of it has been stripped back. And if you mention it, you get a load of robot shaggers telling you that the technology is fine. It's just maybe the people making the decision. I'm like, so what's your fucking point? I'm still not being able to enjoy the goal that went in because I'm waiting for some lad to make a subjective decision by drawing lines with a computer. So one way or the other, that does not alter the fact that my level of enjoyment of the game has been marred. And I know that, in the period of time that you've been supporting Liverpool and watching the game on a regular basis, it has been a feature, but very much in the early days, I think, a developing one. I think you kind of coincide with that. I'm wondering, you're very much famously into football for the joy of it as well. Do you find that it really has impaired that experience for you?
Yeah, because as you said, I think the technology and in the employment of said technology was increasing as I was, started following Liverpool, and then, more so. So it really has been the last couple of years that, yes, I have noticed a difference in, I used to, probably part of it initially was I hadn't had enough experience with the VAR, the offside, or, just how those decisions can call back a goal per se, to where I'd be like, yes. And then, and celebrate said goal, and then have, the pullback of it being called back or not counting or whatever. So again, as, the last couple of years, it feels like we're seeing that more and more. We're seeing it, again, as you said, I believe a minute or two ago, Trev, not just affecting those of us fans as we're watching, but even affecting the players, kind of, if they're like, ooh, maybe I might have been offside there or whatever, not full out celebrating. And then, of course, again, by the time the decision has been made or validated, the moment you've lost that spontaneous joy of the moment, to celebrate the goal. So no, yeah, I think I would say it has affected me more probably the last 2 seasons. And again, it's been kind of a gradual build up. Maybe I've just gotten a little more cynical too. And in my old age, that's probably part of it as well. Lost the innocent joy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yes, I would say yes. It certainly affects me more now than it did, say, 5 years ago.
Can I just say last thing probably on this? With this semi-automated one, it'll get to such a point, I think, if they keep with the technology and develop it, that as soon as a player is offside and receives that ball, like with the goal line technology, straight away there's a beat, and the referees and the I still call them linesmen. As soon as there'll be a beep in their ear, offside, flag will go up, and that will stop all of this issues with the offside. It's not a goal now, because again, we will accept that as humans because we're conditioned to think that technology is never wrong.
And that's a load of bollocks, right?
Exactly.
I was going to say, I don't know that I would really agree with that statement.
But it will keep the joy going.
Well, what I do like about the welcoming in our AI overlords to take over the decision making on something like offside, for it to be completely automated like the goal line technology is. What I do like about that is it's just instant and there will be no recourse. So if you get a shit decision in the moment, you get a shit decision in the moment. The whistle goes, the klaxon sounds, whatever the fuck it will be, to indicate that, no, sorry, offside. And it's instant. At least we don't have the interminable, they're just checking it over, and So I for that reason alone, I would embrace it. But for all other reasons, I am opposed to every and all intrusion of technology. I don't know what it is.
You just want to be in the stadium, or you just want to hear abuse at the linesman.
Well, there is that again is a joy in and of itself that has been lost, and I really hope that the PGMOL gets a transcript of this, and they get to hear the heartbreaking reality that the 19th century innocence of a Bronte sister has been shattered by their absolute incompetence, and the simple joy that said Bronte sister took in the game of football is now lost, thanks to their incompetence.
How old are you this week, Trev?
I'm still 51, man. Unfortunately, I've got caught in a time loop. There's no getting out of this one, I'm afraid. I'm stuck.
Currently, I'm 250, but anyway.
Hey, listen.
150.
Yeah, you're looking well.
I'm not even in.
You're looking well. I was gonna say, let's not talk about ages, lest we bring up that conversation we had before the mics went live. Our listeners will be scandalized, I tell you. So we should have a look at a couple of more sort of recent things, contemporary things to do with the team, like we tend to do. In terms of actually looking at matches, I'm not really that interested. And as you know, we have Crystal Palace tomorrow. Nobody's probably going to hear this show on, a handful of people hear the show before the Palace game. So it is what it is. We really, I think you'll both agree, are in a situation where it actually feels like a must win, just simply because of the 2 weeks that are off afterwards. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I don't know if you have access to it here, but I can walk you through it anyway, is the period of time after that, that's coming up with this incredibly intense run of fixtures that's coming up after that fortnight that we are away from Premier League football. So we play the 5th of October, that's tomorrow, against Crystal Palace, the good old 12:30 kickoff, and it'll be what it'll be. I think people are making way too much of it. One thing I will say that I love about Arne Slot is that he's pretty unflappable in the media. He does tend to say the right thing, but not too much of anything, which I really like. I genuinely do really like. I think it's fantastic. And I was talking to Jan about it last night, how there are quotes coming out from players that you wouldn't expect, like Luis Diaz. We heard the ones from Curtis earlier on, that Curtis felt he had to roll back because there was some sort of Jurgen fan backlash, like we can't say anything bad or anything good about the new manager lest it implies something bad about the old one, that kind of nonsense. And then there was also some quotes from Trent that were being quoted recently about how he goes about his business, how Arne Slot approaches things, and it's very heartening, and you can't argue with the results. 8 wins out of 9. It's quite literally the best start of any Liverpool manager, and sitting top of the league, despite the fact that we got sort of a very embarrassing defeat to Nottingham Forest under our belts already, is just such a gorgeous bonus. I have terrible anxiety about this game tomorrow, primarily because I feel I really want us to be still sat there top of the league for that fortnight. Before I go on to talk about these games that are coming up, is there anything to do, just briefly, to do with this game tomorrow and your take on it? Like, are you guys in the same boat there? Are you both thinking, obviously we all want to win, but I guess what I'm asking is, do you think, Lisa Marie, this is like a must win? Because I have it built up in my head to that.
Yeah, I think so. If nothing else, just to have the momentum going into the international break, I think would be nice. I don't, must, of course, I feel like every game is must win sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to discount any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, I think it is away. Yes, it's away at Crystal Palace. So I think that's important as well. As many of these kind of away wins that we can notch, I think is useful, especially we are more likely to win away at Crystal Palace than we are, say, at City or Arsenal. Also, let's notch those 3 points if, where you imagine it's going to be easier to get them. It does feel fairly must win to me as well.
We had a look at the strengths and weaknesses, Cam, of Crystal Palace, and obviously there's been a falling off from last season where they were pretty good, pretty hot shit, to be fair. They have lost their best player in Elise over the summer, and a couple of others as well, and they're just not quite firing on the same cylinders as they were last year. They have a new manager, everyone's trying to find their feet, that's fine, but they're right down there at the bottom. I think 3 points is all they've managed to accrue so far. So you would think it's a good time to get them, but you know the way the conversation went with myself and Jan was like, okay, whatever. 12:30 at Crystal Palace is not a good combo anyway. But more to the point, this is the league where anyone can beat anyone, and it sounds like a cliche, but it's fucking not a cliche because it happens on a regular basis. People take points off the likes of us and the likes of City on these random occasions. So there is a lot on this one, Cam. And the reason, you know, I'm spinning it back to you, like the point about it being a must win is simply this: when it takes 90 points to win a league, you've got to keep winning. You just can't afford to be dropping points against teams that are so further down in the league than you.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody just heard me say this is the biggest game of our season now. Quite simply because we want to go into that international break top of the table. We haven't played anybody of note yet, and I include Man United in that because they're shockingly bad at the moment. So Palace are winless, I believe, in the league this season. I think it's 3 draws. Correct me on that one.
No, you're right.
That's right.
They're going to click at some point. What's to say it's not going to be tomorrow? We don't know that. So it's a huge game. And just to start the season again after the international break, top of the table, and then to face a slightly different Chelsea from last season, and it's on the Sunday. It's a Super Sunday fixture at 4:30 in the UK GMT time. So that gives us, thankfully, an extra day of recovery, and it's at home as well. And that will then be a real test because right now we've not played anyone. We've not been playing well for 2-3 games now, and we've seemed to have just sort of lost a little edge, but we've been getting results. And it started with that Forest game. We suddenly went really, really bad after the last international break, and we haven't really quite recovered. I mean, I know we played well the game I didn't see where we went away and won in Milan. Played quite well there. That game, Bologna gave us a good test on Wednesday night. You know, their setup man marking was interesting, the way they came at us. So it's going to be, you know, and I don't know what style Palace are playing this season. I've not seen any of their football at all. But, you know, that Palace crowd, I think it's one of the best crowds in the league. You know, they really get behind their team. They're phenomenal support down there, and they'll be up for it.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
A great workout deserves a great reward. Treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls made with fresh fruit, purely Elizabeth granola, and now creamy coconut. You earned it. Grab a treat you can feel good about, only at Smoothie King.